Hi, my name is Weston Fur. In this video for ENME435, I will be going over my lane detection algorithm and the code that I wrote for question 2 of homework 5. So, to answer the questions that are on the assignment, the first one was how did I determine the left lane versus right lane? And essentially to do this, I just used the theta values that were given from the Huff transform. And essentially the way I determine it is this whole section here. You can see I made a function. I have two global variables. These are just in case the line function is 0. Um, I call the line function here, which generates all of the different lines that were seen in the example screenshot. And then all of these variables store the left and right rho value, theta value, and then also a counter. And the reason for this is so that I can calculate the average. So once you call the line function, this one here, it returns lines. And then in this function, I feed lines back into it, and it loops over this. And if the angle is greater than 0, then through just looking at the image, that has to be the line that is on the left side. And therefore, it's rho left, theta left, and count left. Otherwise, it's the right lane. This is where I calculate the average values. And once again, if the line is 0, this right here will simply prevent us from dividing by 0. Because if you divide by 0, it would throw an error and then stop running the video. These right here were how I determined basically how to draw the line itself onto the frame. Same thing with this. And then right here is another check that I added to prevent myself from dividing by 0, because if x2 minus x1 is 0, then it would throw another error. So I basically included this check here that if it's 0, it'll revert back to using the previous values, which were not 0. And I figured this is good enough because it's only going back basically one frame, so it wouldn't be drawing like a phantom line. And then this is all for the left line, and then this is all for the right line. And the right down here is where I draw the lines, and you can see I changed the color values. So the left line is in blue and the right line is in red. So let's look at one of the videos, actually the first video of how it performs. You can see the right line in red, left line in blue. Obviously the right line has the nice solid line, so it's tracking it very nicely. The blue line, I could not figure out how to get it to stop blinking, because you can clearly see in the threshold that it is detecting the left lanes. However, every time the dash happens, it goes away. Um, I'm assuming this just has to do with stuff being too dark. And here's another thing I noticed is the thresholds are they're particular. I tried to widen it, but it's still, if the color, it basically, if the overall brightness doesn't match well enough, it stops working, or it doesn't work as well. But so overall, this is what I would consider um, very good detection. And so this is the original video, and you can see I defined a threshold for video 1, which I commented here. So this is my video 1. Now, I was able to play around with and get thresholds that work for video 2, and those are, I still have them under the yellow. Um, but, so if I comment this out, these values that I determined here work for videos 2 and the video called 30. So I have them loaded right here. I have them all importing here. And then if I just change this to video 2 and this to video 2, it'll now read video 2. And here we go. You can see overall the video is much brighter. And this is one of the issues that I see with this algorithm is the fact that um, this scene as a whole is much brighter than the other one. So if I applied the same threshold, these would just be blank. It would not be picking up anything, or it would be picking up way too much. So there with him changing lanes, you could see the right lane gradually moved over and then it switched here. Here's another issue with this algorithm is the shadows cast by the cars. Because you could see on this threshold, the shadow where the car is just black in the threshold. So it's struggling a lot to pick it up. So, and then when there's all these lines, again, it struggles majorly. And here you can see the road is getting brighter. And now the Tesla's shadow is right in the part here. So it's really struggling to pick it up. Now I tried my best, but again, it still has the blinking. And then let me just show you the final video here, video 3. This one is the one that had the yellow lane line. And here you can see again, yellow lane line works perfectly. This one, the right lane, for some reason, it's like only flickers every so often, unlike the other ones. And you can see it's perfectly detecting the yellow one. And this is again without changing threshold value from the previous one. So overall, I think I'm most happy with this how it performs on this last one. But again, some ideas I have to fix this would be like if you could determine the average brightness of these videos, then you could either scale up or down depending on the overall brightness. Because if I change this back to video 1, you'll see this threshold does not pick up anything really. Like there is nothing being picked up. So I have to go back, and I believe that's because this video is much darker than the other ones, so the values are not good enough for it. And then, so really the only things that I changed in this software to make it work were the addition of my Huff transform function here. I changed it from the Huff lines P to just the Huff line equation Huff line function. And then again in the main, I'm importing the videos instead. And then these 2 lines here just separate the video and play the video frame by frame. And then right here, this allows me to control the speed of the video. So like if I change this to 1, the video will play much faster, as you can see. But then if I change it to 100, it'll be probably pretty choppy and slow. And then Q is if I'd want to quit. And so yeah, this is my lane detection algorithm. Again, the things I would change would be likely some way to scale the brightness of each image. And again, just make it more flexible so that I don't have to have these 2 separate values here to account for the changing videos. And then all these other ones were my attempts at other values and just some residual code from the stuff that we wrote in class. So that's it. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed.